רננו וזמרו, רננו וזמרו, רננו וזמרו. זמרו לאדוני בחינות, בחינות בכל זמרה. זמרו לאדוני בחינות בכל זמרה. יאי לה 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 לה, איי 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 איי, איי לה 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 לה, איי 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 איי, לה 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 לה, איי לה לה לה, איי לה 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 לה. לאדוני כל הארץ, לאדוני כל הארץ, לאדוני כל הארץ. יצאו, רננו וזמרו, רננו וזמרו, רננו וזמרו. זמרו לאדוני בחינות, בחינות בכל זמרה. זמרו לאדוני בחינות בכל זמרה. לי לי לי, יאי לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יאי לה, איי יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה. Page 137. Adonai oz la'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. May God grant strength to our people. May God grant us the gift of peace. Adonai oz la'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo. Adonai oz la'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo. Shalom, shalom, shalom. So we turn to page 138. We welcome the Sabbath bride with the words of Lecha Dodi, page 138. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabla. Shamor v'zach אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה לקראת שבת. לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה התעוררי היווה אורך קומי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי. על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובתולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת, נקבלה
And so from that beautiful introduction from within the sanctuary, it is my pleasure to join with each of you from home to wish you a Shabbat Shalom in this most remarkable and unusual and unsettling of times that we live in. You can see over my shoulder that I've brought a little bit of the sanctuary home with me, trying to do my part like each of you are trying to do to stay connected with Shul and with community, particularly as we make our way through the month of Elul. As many of you know, restrictions were changed, expectations placed on us as individuals and as a community were raised earlier this week. But what few of you might realize is that meant that we had to make some pretty rapid decisions about how it was that we were going to be leading services in the weeks ahead. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude to Cantor Lalum, to Rhonda Hall, and to David Cram, who are in the sanctuary tonight together with Tammy Cohen. And in the coming days and weeks, we'll be joined by Devorah Kamasarov. The five of them forming the Bima team that are going to be laying our foundation, not only for tonight's Shabbat service, not just for tomorrow's Kabbalat, Shacharit Shabbat service, but over the weeks ahead as we head towards the Yamim Noraim. It is still our sincere hope to have as many people who are able to be in the sanctuary bringing the new year together. But we're realistic. The current settings might be the settings that carry us not only into the new year, but into Yom Kippur and the Chagei Tishrei that follow. And so we want to be ready. And so we, myself, Rabbi Ettlinger, Idor, have all moved home. And we'll be joining you over the next few weeks from home in the hope that it's only for a few weeks, but if necessary, this is the way we'll carry each other through the Yamim Noraim. But for now, wherever we are, whether you're at home or you're in the sanctuary, I want us to recognize that we enter this space to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a sign of God's visible presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now, it is our turn to come into the sanctuary on Elmer Road, or the sanctuary we create in our homes to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this space, this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these things drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let the brightness of Shabbat settle upon us as we lift up our hearts and our souls in prayer. You can see in the sanctuary that the Cantalum is standing alongside our Shabbat candles. I have my family's candles in front of me here. If you have candles at home, I want to invite you to get them ready, whether you have the prayer book or our Shabbat at home booklet, or you just know these blessings from heart. I invite you to join with Michelle and I as we kindle these lights. As these lights give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those that kindle light. As I relight the second candle, I invite you to join with me in the blessing, bringing this light towards us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom to those of you in the sanctuary. Shabbat shalom to those of you at home. Let's turn forward now in our prayer books to the words of Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, a song for this Shabbat day. We're on page 140, Psalm 92.
Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Page 140. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור עלינה, ולעלי היגיון בחינה. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך הרנן. מה גדול מעשיך אדוני מאוד, עומק ומחשבותיך. איש פעם לא ידע, וכסיל לא יבין זאת. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק אתה יפרח כארץ בלבן בעזרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינון וצבע דשאים ורעננים יהיו לעין ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולתו. On page 142, the angels join and accompany us and bless our week. May it be as blessed as we have prepared Shabbat, so too may the days of our week be blessed. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Noachem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We rise, whether in the sanctuary or in the sanctuary of our home, page 144, the Chatzikah.
יתקדש שמי רבה
Amen.
בעמוד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בכוחן וביומכן ובחייך בית ישראל
Bagala, Bagala, ובזמן קריב.
ואמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבם מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה
בריחו.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה
ושפחתה ונחמתה דני רק בעלמה.
ואמרו
אמן.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Please be seated and join with me in the Hebrew on page 148. 148. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את כוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור מעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמה, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Page 150. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נצליח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד, שם כבוד, מלכותו לעולם, לעולם ועד.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורתם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 156, all this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all of Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously, singing this song.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך ואהובניך, הוגה ים לפני משה ומרים, זילינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי בד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו ביד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Amen. Blessed are you, Eternal One, for redeeming Israel. On page 160, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom va'amidenu malkeinu lechayim. Our prayer asking that God bring us a shelter of peace. Page 160. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom.
השכיבנו, השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו לשלום.
והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים ולשלום, ולשלום. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal One, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts, eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and and rise up waiting to do your will. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Eloheinu leshalom. Baruch ata Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Eternal One, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. On page 162, Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat. This is our prayer, our covenant for all time. Page 162. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השישי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש.
ושמרו לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. And so we arrive at the Amidah, the standing prayer. Our tradition is to pray together as a community the first three of the benedictions, and then to continue, whether using the words of our prayer books or the words of our hearts. Page 164, the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagadol hagebo v'hanora, El Elyon, gomel hasadim tovim v'konei hakol, v'zocher haste avot ve'imahot, umevi geola livnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei metim atah rav lehoshia, mashiv haruk u'morid hageshem, mazriach hashemesh u'morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei metim berachamim rabim, somech noflim ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ברית מחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני עם נברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Thank you, Ido. That was quite beautiful. And so we are in Parashat Ki Tetzeh. It's a remarkable parasha because it contains 74 of the Torah's 613 mitzvot. And within these mitzvot, there are laws talking about marriage and family relationships, the ones which you can have and the ones that you can't have or shouldn't have. There's laws of inheritance, the rights of the firstborn, the wayward and rebellious son, burial and dignity of the dead, returning lost objects, sending a bird away before you take its young, being humane, the duty to set up a parapet or a fence around your roof so your laborers who are sleeping on your roof don't roll off. So moral responsibility and legal responsibility. There's also judicial procedures and penalties. Some for things such as adultery, rape, seduction of an unmarried girl. How interesting that the unmarried girl is protected, should not be groomed or seduced or raped. And even penalties for a husband who falsely accuses his wife of infidelity. So you cannot simply accuse someone and get away with it. Rather, the husband would be punished. So many laws within this parasha talk to the issue of Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze Leze. We are responsible one for the other. We individually, we as a family, we as a community, we as a state, we as a nation, we as a world. This parasha speaks to this idea of Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze Leze, of communal responsibility, and the idea that, for example, when we wear a mask, it's not so that we shouldn't become infected. It is that should we be infected and not know it, we would not be contagious to other people, thanks to the mask that we wear. A little bit of humility, a recognition that our responsibility is not simply to ourselves, although, by all means, if that's what it takes to wear the mask, wear the mask. To protect yourself. But the mask is worn just as much to protect the other. The idea of vaccination is similar. Our responsibility to the community to achieve herd immunity. Because you or I can perhaps be vaccinated. I am fully vaccinated, which means that if I catch it, I will probably not die of it. That's nice. I appreciate that. But I'm likely to take it home to my children, and they can die of it. Or to my mother, who perhaps, even though she is fully vaccinated, is in a high-risk category, and even with the vaccine would be at significant risk. So the objective of herd immunity is not just to protect us as individuals, it's just as much to protect our community, our children, our immunocompromised friends and family. Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze Leze. We are responsible for one another. I'm horrified to look at what is happening in Afghanistan today. Did we not know that this was a war that could never be won? And in withdrawing, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't withdraw, in withdrawing, what catastrophic reality have we left behind for all those who have had any association whatsoever with us or any of the allies? I understand that the Taliban are going from room to room, house to house, collecting spoils Spoils might only be 12-year-old young women, young girls. They are not women. Spoils of war. But don't worry, they're protecting the women. I understand yesterday a woman was shot for not wearing a burqa, but they're protecting the women. Kol Yisrael Aravim ze lezeh. We are all responsible for one another. What does this mean? What does this mean within our own community? What does this mean in our community when we have people who are homeless at the moment and still subject to a virus, which if they catch it, is catastrophic in that population? What do we do about those who are suffering because their work has disappeared? Their businesses have closed. They cannot go to work. Kol Yisrael Aravim ze lezeh. We are responsible for one another. We are responsible for ourselves, first and foremost. And as we come towards Yom Kippur, we have to do the introspection to think about what that means. And then for our family, yes, our spouse, our children, our siblings, our parents, our grandchildren, and then wider, our community. What is it that we do for the community and our country? So I would invite you all to consider, in these most remarkable times, yes, we're in lockdown. No, it's not easy. What can we actually do, even in this context, to reach out to others, to help others, to be responsible for others, whether it be their well-being, physical, emotional, psychological, whether it be to the very distressed refugee population here in Australia, as they watch what is occurring in Afghanistan. If you have an interest, please reach out to us. We will put you in touch with Project Dignity. Alternatively, if you wish, you can help feed the homeless, even at this time. We'll put you in touch with our Nourish, that feeds the homeless and those in need. Kol Yisrael Aravim ze lezeh. We truly are responsible to each other, for each other. As we come towards the high holidays, I ask of you, what is it that each of us can do for the other? And in that tone, we have before us two shofarot. These shofarot are the call to awaken, to remember, to be conscious, to be aware, to think and to take ownership and responsibility. And so even though we don't say the bracha during the month of Elul, we do hear the mitzvah, the commandment is lishmoa kol shofar, to hear the sound of the shofar.
Tekiah, Shivarim Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shivarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah.
We turn to our concluding prayers and the Aleinu on page 586.
Aleinu l'shabbat l'adon hakol, לתת גאולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כבת
לא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ויאמר יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. This evening we think especially in the period of Shiva of Glenda Burstein, Raymond Gander, Zelik Kaminsky, and Len Levine. And we think of Cantor Abraham Jacobi, who will be laid to rest on Sunday, and Oktiabrina Oshman, who will be laid to rest on Monday. In a period of Shloshim, we think of Howard Balin, Mary Cowan, Sylvia Forshaw, Raymond Fradkin, Sandor Gaidos, Marjorie Luno, Esther Rose, Jill Stone, and Alan Wolfe. And the yahrzeits that fall this week: Max Arnott, Raymond Bayer, Leon Brooks, Ilana Chemke, Eleanor Freeman, Doris Girl, Joachim Heyman, Kurt Kahn, Esther Kelly, Emmanuel Kempler, Julia Kingston, Franzi Langfelder, Rhonda Lewis, Liesel Lowenstein, Sheila Mayers, Norman Mendelsohn, Cheshire Mermelstein, Monique Minsky, Kevin Pownell, John Riordan, Saul Mahlab, Leon Siegel, Clive Sward, Sonny Trigger, Joseph Unger, and Magda Urban Weiss. You may add additional names in the chat or hold them dear in your heart, as we think also of more than 5 million people who have died to COVID over the past years. And we think also of those who are dying so unnecessarily in Afghanistan as we speak. Zichronam livracha. May their memories truly be for a blessing, as we join together on page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevorach le'olam ulal me'almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לילה מן קל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel and to all of humanity. And we say
Amen.
Amen. And so I invite Judy to join us and share a few announcements from the Board of Governors.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. It's a pleasure to be with community, and I welcome you all this evening on behalf of our President and of the Board. Thank you for helping create this link that keeps us together. For those of you who've joined us in mourning or in the memory of a loved one, we hope that you found comfort from being with community. During this reflective time of the month of Elul, please join us for the many offerings that are outlined at our website and in our weekly email from the Rabbi's desk. Following on from our cantor's words this evening, at Daily David this week I shared a quote: "Don't count the days, make the days count." And if you're looking for some ways of making these days count, please do take our 4-week Elul challenge, which is full of ideas for reflection during Elul and opportunities to make your day count. You'll find it on our High Holy Day website. If you like a good book club, do join us for reflecting on the question, what would I do if I weren't afraid? At our Elul Book Club, Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. for the next 2 weeks. This is a slight change to what was originally advertised, so do note that the 4th session will be held on Thursday, the 2nd of September. Slichot service is next Saturday evening at 8 p.m. and it includes the changing of the mantles, which is always beautiful to see. And as I've been promising for months, the last couple of months, high holiday preparations, as Rabbi Gersh mentioned, have been well underway. And yes, as known all along, we would need to pivot, and we were ready for it. So our high holiday platform is amazing. It's full of information, activities and updates. Our Yamim Noraim this year are going to be wonderful, and we will all be together despite being apart. Please do familiarise yourselves with the website ahead of time so that you have easy access on the days that you need them. Also, please help Idor with a short Shana Tova greeting video. Have a look at the website to find out what you need to do for that. And you will then have the opportunity to appear in a video of a new song that Idor has written for Rosh Hashanah. Shabbat continues, of course, tomorrow morning with Parashat HaShavua, then Shacharit and Havdalah at the end of the day. Sunday through to Thursday, do join us for daily Daven and the beautiful community that gets together many evenings of the week. Thank you, Michelle, Rhonda, David, Tammy, Gersh for a beautiful service. And as our president would say, return your books to your bookshelf, and thank yourself perhaps for the security of your own home. Thank you all, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and join me in the words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים. And I'll invite you, if you have prepared a challah, my daughters would place their hand on the challah with me and sing with me, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom and Betavon as we sing out to the words of Oseh Shalom. Shalom במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Shalom everyone, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy.